Hello everyone and welcome to another analysis video. Just earlier in this week's COA, B4U Survivor managed to clutch out a free escape against FPX.ZQ's Hunter D, which is huge considering that NAEU survivors are deemed weak on a global scale. So in this video, I'll be commentating and analyzing this free escaping game from B4U, how they did it, and also some misplays and potential improvement from both ends, and hopefully you guys will enjoy this video. Alright everyone, we're now going to be analyzing the match between ZQ's Hunter D and B4U survivors. Right off the bat, we can see that the Paublems over here is going to be using both his knee-jerk reflex and also his broken windows to transition all the way into the hotel. And using both his accelerations there was actually a pretty good move, because this increased the gap between him and the Hunter massively, and as a result he never entered wax or hitbox range early into the game. And another thing to note is that D brought teleport for this game, which is going to be ineffective because the best target he has is right on his face. But, one thing that I noticed throughout watching this COA group stage is that sometimes some players would put themselves in a situation where they're going to get chased right off the bat. But here we can see this is not the case of Paublems due to his very good rotations, because currently we're near 1 minute into the game and this is when finally D entered wax range of Paublems. So over here, Paublem actually had a very good kite, but unfortunately he slammed the pallet the wrong way, and that's definitely unfortunate because had that not happened, he could have potentially kited for a much longer time. And due to this mistake, they are going to have to be forced to call the mechanics bot to help block wax for Paublems to help him last longer. So as the bonks get waxed over here, D is not going to hit and rather going to be continuing pursuing on the Seer, and honestly I'm not sure this is the best move. Because one thing to note of this team comp is that the decoding speed is very fast due to only having Mercenary with the... Mercenary is the only one with the decoding debuff, and also they have the mechanics bot over here, which the bot we all know counts as one cipher. Because here, had he hit the bot, like in this situation, if he hit the bot over here, there's not a lot of areas for Paublems to run to. Like even if he hits the bot, the Seer could not have lasted for a long amount of time. Like he still had the owl, but we all know that Seer's owl is not effective in front of a wax artist. So that is definitely a misplay from D's side, and now Paublem is going to be forced to use out the owl because, as I said, Seer's owl is not really effective in front of a wax artist. So with that, the Seer is going to go down, but if we look at the cipher progress, this is actually a round 2.5 cipher kite, and that is actually a pretty decent for the survivors. In normal condition, this is going to be a tie or above game for the Hunter, but due to the fact that the bot is still active, this is actually a tie or above game for the survivors because the bot counts as one extra cipher. So as the rescue is going to come into play, I want to quickly thank Aaron for like taking the time to explain this game for me. So yeah, thanks a lot Aaron if you're watching right now. And the rescue is going to come into play, and actually we can see that the ciphers are actually enough right now. Because like even though the Seer doesn't have a rebound kite and they're forced to send someone into rescue, but they actually have 3 units to decode the ciphers. They have the bot, the mechanics main body, and also the mercenary. So the ciphers are enough, and that's why they called for the anti-querying to come assist. Because the anti-querying here is not necessary to give Paublems a rebound kite, but to like just delay for time, as Schmiddy here is going to pull off the stun here, which is a pretty good move. And unfortunately there is no rebound kite and Paublem is still gonna go down, but it didn't really matter that much because the mission of the lane time is already complete. And here unfortunately Schmiddy did make a misplay, but because as we see, he had flywheel effect and he failed to use it. Had he used the flywheel effect, he could have dragged for a bit of a longer time. So now this actually puts D back in a tying position. Initially it was a free escaping position, but now it's back to a tying position. Because after D chaired, now D has a potential to field control. As we can see here, he's going to be using the wax to block off the center cipher. So now this means that the last cipher is potentially not enough because there are no more tie turners in the game right now. So as I said, there is a danger of Seer gonna go down very fast, but they did do a pretty good job in dodging that attack over there. As now the mercenary is gonna go down and the Seer already gained another owl from that, as the cipher program is dropping left and right as we can see. And here there is another misplay over here that I'm gonna go into. Because we can see that the mercenary got down by the hot wax and then the Seer cannot last for long and the Seer goes down as well. So actually there's a potentially better situation that was explained, and here is that here, if the mercenary has slammed the pallet over here, if the mercenary chose to slam this pallet, then all of a sudden this will be a decent terrain, and then Paublems could have potentially rotate around this terrain to last for a bit of a longer time. But here the plan was have Roleand to block the wax, but I believe it would have been better if they had chosen to slam that pallet. Then the Seer could have lasted for around a few more seconds, because now they had to gamble on the hunter ballooning the wrong person, which did end up happening. So really I have to give props for B4U. And then D dropped the mercenary over there, and that is when he's gonna come and regret it. So first of all, as I said, a pretty good thinking of the rotating, and here actually the moment D ballooned the wrong person, he should have instantly chaired. Because here's the thing, Seer is dead on chair, so if D chairs the mercenary, the survivors would be forced to pop the last cipher. So then D could have played for tie. But by dropping, this allowed the survivors to pop the last cipher, and now we're in a 4-man endgame. So he should have just gone for the chair. And right now things are looking good for the survivors, because the mechanic bot is popping the game at one end and the mercenary at another. And here Paublems is unfortunately going to go down to that hit through the pallet. And hindsight is 50-50, but actually I feel like Paublems should have just put down the pallet earlier in advance. Because at this point it's impossible for the Seer to escape, then what they should have done is, the Seer's mission at this point is to just last as long as possible so the others can get out safely through the gate. So he probably could have considered pulling down that pallet earlier in advance. And here, as D is going to be chairing the Seer, we can see that the gate at the other end is already done as the mech and antiquarian are out. And yep, mech and antiquarian are out as the TP goes into play, and the mercenary will be out through the dungeon, and this will be a free escape. Looking back at this moment, actually D also made another misplay over here, as he managed to down Paublems over here. Actually, if we look at this frame, we would have noticed that there was actually a chair right behind D over here. Yep, there's a chair over here. But for some reason, when D is going to balloon the Seer, for some reason he chose to balloon it in the further chair, which actually caused him a few seconds of delay. Because had not been these few seconds of delay, there's actually a possibility for him to cut the mechanic and antiquarian off of the gate. So honestly, that was another misplay on D's side that blew a potential tying game. But then again, as I noted, throughout this game, both the survivors and D over here all made a couple misplays, as this game keeps ping-ponging between a tie and a free escape. And honestly, while there are misplays that caused B4U managing to win this game, but then again, there's no such thing as what ifs in esports. And there's just no such thing, and the fact that B4U managed to capitalize on these mistakes and snowball into a free escape is definitely praiseworthy, considering that this is the first time that an EU team has free escaped under a Chinese hunter. And yeah, just look how happy they are. Yeah. Anyways guys, this wraps up the end of this analysis video, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and managed to learn something through it, as I definitely have learned a bit by reviewing this game. And once again, thank you Aaron for taking the time to explain this game for me, as I actually learned a lot. So yeah guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you soon. Bye!